911 dispatch, which recently fired a employee for sleeping on the job. The call center's response rates has been below average, which has led first responders not getting to their emergency situations in time. Has caused many accidents and many sad tragedies that has happened due to the lack of timeliness in response. The Richmond police recently hired a new 911 dispatch leader who has uncovered some new inconsistencies that are willing to be fixed. So we want to take a positive look and outside on how she could help. And even though people only call 911 once or twice in their entire life, over 600,000 people call 911 every day, and that can affect anyone around you. Said it was proximity, consequence, human interest, and conflict.
So I think you should add like a story of somebody who's been personally affected by this. Like, oh, you took too long, so now my mom said. Yeah. I feel like a lot more people will care if it's like this person has been directly affected, and
like
this
someone
could be you,
locally,
because this isn't your area, you know.
All year, the state governor has talked about funding mental health challenges in Virginia, but like once it came time, like the final state budget slashed all the funding for the mental health services, and like schools are reporting unprecedented amounts of like referrals for counselors, and counselors are at like capacity for appointments. Hospitals are out of beds. Why it matters is like it could be like anyone, like it could like this could affect like if you were like an adult, like it could be like one of your friends, like kids, or like your kids, or if you're in school, like it could be one of your friends.
You said that it has conflict, proximity, and timeliness.
All of you guys have proximity. I think all the stories take place in Richmond. For that one, is it just children being affected, or is it just mental health resources in general?
Mental health resources in general, like
in the entire state.
Yeah.
Okay, I think you should frame that in more of a like personal way. Like I guess human interest again, just because the way you made it sounded like school counselors and like, oh, your kid might not be able to get therapy if they need it. Like I feel like if I'm being personally attacked by this, I'm gonna care more. But other than that, that was good. Also, since it's upcoming, you're kind of like warning, because they don't have any funds for supporting mental health. That kind of sounds like an issue you talk about around re-election time. So just, you know.
So Virginia Commonwealth University, or VCU, is home to one of the nation's top cancer centers, the top 4% in the nation to be exact. They actually have always been pioneering new ways for breast cancer treatment, whether it's new chemotherapy or other radiation methods. They're very prominent in the medical field. They just had a major breakthrough in breast cancer care, and this is very important because not only could this affect the local area, we could interview citizens and Virginia residents who have breast cancer, how it affects them, but also this news story could be taken not just nationally but globally, with new breast cancer solutions being found out. And also it's kind of important because people who live in Virginia can see that their taxes are going to the right causes of what they're working for. Basically, yeah, it's a timely story, and doctors across the nation are eagerly waiting for the story to break and see what happens with the new research.
That was
it's timely, prominent, has proximity, and a little bit of human interest too.
That was really good. I really liked the interviewing portion, and something else you said, like knowing that something like this is starting in your state, like really close to you, that's really good. Do you have anything?
I was going to say, like, I do like the interview part. I was going to say, like, at first that you should interview, like, the family members. However, I do like your idea more.
Our story is about the Richmond Police Department as it is facing a staffing crisis. In the last 5 years, they've lost 30% of their workforce, and 20% of their officers have retired since 2020. And they keep consistently changing careers. However, it's a national issue not only in just Richmond, where it is most prominent, as police officers are facing critically low staffing numbers. It's causing heightened community frustration within the policing profession, and many people within the community are having more crime being caused in their areas, as this understaffing police officers is leading to people who are either differently able or pregnant not being able to receive that officer backup because of how much is happening, how much crime is happening, which is leading to other people to step up and try to solve that role that the police officer has left. It's such a wide scope of an issue that it hits each and every one.
I feel like the first crime reports editor and the second crime reports editor, you guys' stories low-key go hand in hand. That was good though. Yeah.
Okay, so ours is about housing insecurity in Richmond, and it is causing cramping in the city and a lot more homelessness because they have no room to build any more public housing. I feel like the audience is most affected in this because their city is getting cramped, house pricing is going up, more homeless people, and it's causing more crime.
And then for our elements, we said it was consequence because obviously like the people reading this are going to be like, oh, what's going on in Richmond? And they're going to go, oh, wait, like there's no housing prices, everything's going to go up. And I obviously live in a house if I'm in Richmond, so, and if I don't, I'm homeless. So that also just makes it worse. So there's more people on the streets. And then proximity, obviously, because like if you're reporting it in Richmond, it's there. And then conflict because a lot of the lawmakers are kind of arguing about like, we don't know what to do, we don't know where to put things, so.
A little more political. Like there's people in charge who, I mean, I guess, I don't know what they could do. That's
The lawmakers are the ones who aren't doing the housing,
Yeah.
so that's how we're relating it back to them.
Targeted at them negatively.
My story says that I am a part of that. That I am the one that's saying no, so.
Wait, so you're the one, you're the reason we don't have.
She's the lawmaker?
I'm the one that like literally was like, oh yeah, you want to build like affordable housing near my upper class neighborhood? No.
Could do like a two sides of the story type of issue, like, oh, homeless people bad, but also I don't want homeless people near me. Don't quote me on that. You could do like a different perspectives. I think there are a lot of people that are feeling the way that your character feels, like in real life. Like there are people who will say like, don't put this public housing near my house because then my house goes down and then crime and then people around, whatever. There are a lot of people who feel that way, especially in Richmond, so I do think you should interview people like that. And then also, try to get an interview with somebody who's like currently unhoused or about to be unhoused. Yeah.
Or a lawmaker, maybe?
That would be good.
That's true, a lawmaker.
A literal lawmaker, and see if they're, yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, local teachers are reporting black mold, rodents, and leaks in the school building, and the question is, who can fix the problem and where does the money come from?
We think this is going to be hugely important to our audience as they are in Richmond proximity and our kids have to attend these schools and these kids' health may be affected as a consequence. It will appeal to people's humanity, human interest if they care about the health of these kids, and people will be interested in the conflict between the teachers, principals, and school board. It's also very timely as it's happening right now, so we need to report on it right now.
Yes, and the issue is the money, so by writing this story, we can do kind of a call to action for the community to shed light on this and maybe raise money, as well as this could potentially be picked up by larger news sources because it's an effect to public health.
Consequence, your kids are gonna get whatever you get from being around mold.
Yeah, my kid
Yeah.
is getting sick.
Your kid is getting sick?
Yeah,
Even better. Even
75%
better.
of the school year. They're like been out like for a long time.
Okay, so.
I'm a childless adult, but my taxes go to make sure that our schools are good. And if there's rats and black mold, like who's mismanaging the funding that they're getting? Like my taxes go up every year because of the schools, and where is it going?
You should interview her.
Yeah.
Interview with a frustrated childless adult and a parent. No, you could be the parent and put your. Oh no, don't put your.
No, I can't. But you know other parents that you can interview.
Yeah, ask
There's
somebody
definitely
else.
more parents.
Go through the PTA. Ask somebody else. Somebody else's kid.
All right, go for it.
Funding for a new Diamond District ballpark has been hit in the wrong direction. So for about 5 years, this whole neighborhood has been talked about getting a new ballpark for their whole baseball team. Their whole baseball team has been hitting home runs and winning games for a very long time now, and it's been paused for 5 years. What I would do is, what our group would do, we would talk to locals, especially the baseball team. How are their fields? What do their fields look like right now? How are parents? What are their fundings going?
So for the elements of news, the main three ones we went with was timeliness, because this is something that was mentioned like 5 years ago, and now 5 years later, there's no updates, there's nothing about it. And then another one was human interest, because it was expressed that like the people were excited for this, like it was gonna be like a whole little like strip mall type ideal around like the baseball park. And another thing was conflict, because funding is being pulled and there's just no progress at all. So, yeah.
Do you back it up?
Snaps. Yeah. Please keep your title. It was very funny. Actually, we're not supposed to make jokes, but that one feels kind of direct. Like, I feel like I'm intrigued now. Like, what are you talking about?
The proper joke.
Keep it cute. Yeah. Okay. I think, is there like a, I know it's like not real, but like if there was like a blueprint for like, oh, this is what the field would have been if we didn't halt this for 5 years, like that could have been cool. Like if it's like all these stores, all these developments, these blueprint plans that don't exist. Also, you should interview a sponsor because they're the ones that are like kind of bringing it to a halt, I think.
Yeah.
So yeah, interview with sponsors and pictures of like
What it could be, what it
Yeah.
could turn out to be.
Or like when they like make stuff and they like have the little poster like coming soon, this thingy thing, like
It
that.
takes years.
I mean, also you could do like 2 different pictures of what it like looks like at the moment, like right now,
And
and
what
what
the
it
new one.
should be looking like.
You can do a picture of what it looked like 5 years ago and what it looks like right now.
I like that. Thank you.
So, a local nonprofit has made a donation to make musicals more accessible in Richmond, and the city opened a beautiful theater in 2018, and because ticket prices were so expensive, it was really hard for locals to be able to get into the theater and see shows. So this donation is going to make it more accessible to the underprivileged children in the area, because this large amount of money has allowed children under the age of 18 to get in and see these shows for free.
And in addition to that, typically the arts at schools are usually the first programs to get pulled funding from. I know that's prevalent, a lot of people experience that. So the donation the local nonprofit is giving them is going to give these students a creative outlet outside of their own school and just give them that much more creative freedom, and it can spark inspiration in kids that maybe they wouldn't get because their parents don't have money to take them to these shows.
We could take a human interest angle and start with this one example and then take a wider perspective on how art helps children and their maturity, that's the wrong word, but and then we could also talk about how beneficial nonprofits are.
And this story obviously includes timeliness and proximity. It's a new improvement to the community. Proximity, it's local, it's a small community. You don't really hear about stuff nonprofits are doing most of the time because there's not really people spitting out information about it. So I think this story would be really great to get that more well known for underprivileged kids and minors.
This is related. Has anybody seen Glee?
Yes.
You know how like they like had no funding and every year they were like fighting for their lives? Like, oh, being able to be introduced to the arts kept this kid like off the streets and doing
Yeah, that's what we were
whatever.
thinking about with the human interest stories, almost maybe interviewing a specific student or maybe interviewing a musical theater teacher that just feels like they have so much pressure on them because they don't even have enough funding to give the kids what they probably want and what they need. And especially that's kind of, there's the term struggling artists, and I feel like that's kind of goes the same way in high school almost. It's like if you don't have a program that is allowing you that creative freedom, like there's most of the time nowhere else you can really go besides your school if you're not privileged and your parents don't have that money.
We literally have mold and rats in our school, so I'm sure you guys did good.
Actually, I do have like one little thing to say. So honestly, maybe we don't have to put it's just a thought, like we don't have to put the nonprofit part in, because we would be like focusing more on like, hey, these kids, you know, like they need this because a lot of times they could like, if they don't have these types of programs, it could lead to like bad things, bad choices in their future. So that's just my thought.
Yeah, I feel like bringing light to the fact that it is a nonprofit though
for sure
would
it
help
is a
the fact that it could continue to bring funding to it, because there's only so much that one singular donation can do, like a flat out just like, here's 10,000. After a few years, that's funding is going to run out. So I feel like also bringing light to that will bring the community together in a way to keep it open for kids.
Yeah. When Michaela did the thing and she like put the link at the end of her thing for Smart Brevity,
Yeah.
I feel like y'all can do that. Like if you want to find out more about this
For sure,
organization,
like
here's
GoFundMe.
link, they can give them to me so they can stay a nonprofit, like that kind of
For
stuff.
sure.
Yeah. Thank you.
Our issue is that recently a new city budget was put into place, and we're kind of just writing about the local businesses and how they react to the new hourly minimum wage, which is 20.
Okay. So our city is filled with family/small local businesses, and with this change, a lot more money is being demanded.
We thought that we could make this in part a human interest story, and we could interview the business owners, customers, and the employees within to see how this new minimum wage affects them, their job, and kind of just their life in general. We can also take it to a proximity, because all these are proximity. Timeliness, because this is a recent change for the city budget, and a consequence, since this could possibly lead to things like the businesses having to shut down because they're not making enough to pay for the wage.
You think they would like raise their prices and then it affects like the citizens, but like they could also literally just go out of business. I like the angle though, just like interviewing people to see how it affects them, because this could be a good or a bad thing depending who it reaches. So I think you should just give like a lot of perspectives and just put it together.
Yeah. Cool.
Perspectives from businesses also.
Also,
Owners.
sorry, like teenagers, like people who work
Yeah.
these minimum wage jobs.
Like just in general. Yeah. Okay. Cool.
$22 an hour.
I know, like, please. I make $8.
What is that?
Funding for a new Diamond District ballpark has been hit in the wrong direction. In Richmond, Virginia, money, I'm going to read that here because I can't see. Money sponsors are slowing down the funding, building a new ballpark for the local minor league. After 5 long years and a rise in state taxes, locals are wondering where their hard-earned money is going. I'll read the coaches.
So we got statement from the coach, which basically was saying that their field is like very like low quality. It's always being flooded. There's massive like animal holes across the field, and it contains like poisonous plants that like aren't good for the players that's playing on it. And yeah, and so and then the citizens are sitting there wondering, because they've been knowing this for like 5 years. They're like, where is our tax dollars? Where's our money going if it's not being put into this plan that said would be in action 5 years ago? And yeah, so back to you, Ben.
Awesome. All right. So ever since the development or the speak of a new baseball field, their taxes have been raised, and like I said, they are wondering where that money is going. So you can find more. Are locals ever going to see improvement in their parks and recreation? Read more about this funding, it's what's really going on at https://
That's a good, yeah. Yeah. It's very, yeah. I think I'd know where my money's going if I went there.
Black mold raises questions about money. Mold, rodents, and leaks jeopardize safety of students and teachers who complain that nothing is being done about it.
Living on why it matters. Not only is sanitation an issue for students' health, but the lack of action makes people concerned about where tax money that is supposed to support the schools is going. And then Kate Parker, a resident of Richmond for 20 years, says my tax money is going towards unsanitary buildings and not the education of our youth.
Dig deeper. While Richmond School District denied comment, their website states that while most of the budget goes to teacher salaries, maintenance of buildings is also a priority. For more info, visit https://www.amazon. What's your name? Oh, here. These are refrigerated.
It's a rat.
Donation Sparks Inspiration in Underprivileged Youth by Amy O'Leary and Margaret Martin. A nonprofit based in Richmond, Virginia shows their support for the arts by funding free entry for minors at a local theater.
According to Richmond Chief of Police Bianca Whitlock, as of 2020, only 19 states included art as key areas of their state accountability system. This nonprofit has created an asylum for students who struggle with access to a creative outlet.
Students involved in extracurricular activities have been proven to perform better in not only academic settings, but including behaviorally. Studies show that arts education experiences reduce the proportion of students in schools receiving disciplinary infractions by 3.6%, which is what Whitlock said.
To find more information on what you can do to keep this opportunity for youth alive, visit www.funthearts.com. This is a tease?
I don't see the title. Oh, okay, all right, carry on. All right.
That was it. And is this the picture? Yeah. What is
Very creative.
That's basically what theater is, to be honest.
Thank you so much.
Okay, so our headline was Virginia students' mental health in danger. And then our opening sentence was, even though the demand for mental health support has risen by 120% in Virginia, the governor's promise to fund these services has not been met.
Bethany Lewis of Fairfax County Public School Council reports that 38% of Virginia high schoolers stated they felt sad or helpless almost every day for 2 weeks or more. Cutting funding will lead to increased suicide rates, and suicide rates have already risen by 27% alone in Virginia from 2023 to 2024. But what does this say about the entire nation? Learn more about President April's 2025 Mental Health Matters funding campaign at the website. If you or someone you know struggling with mental health, dial 988.
And is this your image?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's supposed to be like a stressor.
You don't know if it's animated or not. It could be.
Like, I was trying to find one in the classroom, but I couldn't.
No, these guys were good?
Nope, no
All right,
questions.
well done.
Thank you.
In the last 5 years, the police and low staffing has led to commotion not only in Richmond, communities, but nationwide. Why it matters? Critically low staffing is causing heightened community frustration within Richmond. According to the Bureau of Justice Assistance, there is a historic crisis in recruiting and retaining qualified officers due to tightening labor market.
Police departments in Richmond have lost 30% of their workforce. In addition, 20% of their officers have retired since 2020, and many others have changed careers. As a result, citizens of Richmond have been harmed due to the lack of officers. In January 2024, a pregnant woman was critically injured after being assaulted on her walk home from work. Officers arrived to the scene 3 hours later due to the staffing shortage. Consequently, community members have been assuming a vigilante role to fill the void the police department has left. However, they seem to be doing more harm than good, as homicide rates have skyrocketed more than 50% as of July 2024. Visit www.washingtonpost.com/RichmondVigilantes to find out more. We reached out to the pregnant lady's family, but they refused to understand the consideration.
Local Fairfax businesses are main targets of minimum wage change. Some local businesses are concerned with the risk of multiple or possible shutdowns or having to raise their prices due to the minimum wage change of $20.
When we interviewed a few small business employees and customers, they had a few worries. Tina Castillo, owner of the Fairfax Bakery, is concerned with keeping a constant enough cash flow to keep her restaurant open. Alice Scott, an active bookseller at Bard's Alley Bookstore, a local Fairfax bookstore, says that this new change affects them by giving them a higher wage, but she's still concerned about the bookstore being open because of their constant events and book clubs. Botanologica, a local floral decor shop, has owner, what's that name? Could you read that for me? I don't know it down. June Liu. Not worried at all, since their wage has always been $23.19 an hour, already following the new changes of this minimum wage. Opinions are clearly mixed across all the businesses following this new change, but the question is, how will this affect Fairfax and their customers to the small businesses, huh? Yeah, we're in Richmond, so that's the thing. We're in Richmond. How will this affect the Richmond? How will this affect small and local businesses in Richmond and their customers? Learn more about these businesses at www.icbirds/rewritethebooks.
All right.
And we have a hashtag to follow our thing.
Okay.
Hashtag Peter and Savannah for President, Editor, CEO, Governor, Senator, King, Queen, Bishop, Dictator, Emperor, Master, Pharaoh, Priest, Ruler, and Tyrant.
Man forgot, Rabbi.
And her husband, Mr. Apple.
Yes.
That one was funny.
This changes things.
Wait, I'm confused.
Thank you for that.
What did the picture do anything?
It's sound reporting.
I feel touched.
I know that.
Peter,
That changed.
how does the picture and the article relate?
Breakthrough in cancer research gives hope to locals. Essentially, following clinical trials, a medical center in Richmond, Virginia, has discovered new information to help combat breast cancer.
So, according to the American Cancer Society, breast cancer accounts for 30% of all new female cancers each year, and every woman has a 1 in 8 chance of getting breast cancer. And so clearly, this affects a lot of people. It's a great tragedy, and so cases are continuing to rise. But so are new methods of treatment, such as partial breast irradiation, which has the potential to ultimately replace chemotherapy. So the VCU has conducted research studies contributing to the changes of practice in breast cancer care, and doctors are very eager to invest more time and funding into these trials, as well as to read the up-to-date research, and this can save ultimately thousands of women in the U.S. and in Virginia.
Yep. That's our lab workers.
Yeah.
Is that you?
Yeah, right here.
Yeah.
Self-portrait.
I see.
Thank you.
Thank
you. Okay. Judges.
You guys are editors. Thank you, Sharks. We appreciate it. Yeah, I know you said that. I was
Okay.
sorry.
Okay, we're gonna move on.
So we have housing crisis increases homelessness and overpopulation. So rising prices in Richmond, Virginia results from disagreements amongst lawmakers about the housing issue. That's your turn.
Oh, yes. So, why it matters. While housing in Richmond has been a continuing issue for the homeless population, it is starting to creep its way into suburban life. When interviewing a homeless man from Richmond, he stated, "I was kicked out of my home due to rent rising, causing me to be homeless this past 2 years, with nothing being done by lawmakers." Lawmakers struggle to come to a decision as suburban homeowners are finding issues with their proposed solution. One of these lawmakers is a part of the disgruntled homeowners, had this to say: "Of course I feel bad for these families affected by this crisis, but I just don't want my children to be influenced by those people if they live in houses built by us." And then digging deeper, we have 2 statistics down here. Housing prices have increased 114.76%.
In the last 10 years. So it's increased how much over 10 years?
People living under the poverty line, 19%. Oh, and I forgot the title. Rising prices in Richmond, Virginia, results from disagreements amongst lawmakers about the housing issue. Oh wait,
You're so good, boo.
Housing crisis increases homelessness and overpopulation by Olivia and Bella.
Not bad. So like 28% of children, or no, it's 34% of children in Virginia live under the poverty line, which is kind of crazy. You didn't have enough room to write it on the paper, but I still thought it was kind of insane. That's a lot of kids. And it's 5 and under. 38% of children 5 and under live under the poverty line.
Okay. In charge brings new hope to local emergency call center. After uncovering some inconsistencies in the 911 dispatch, recently hired Officer Samantha Smith brings hope to improve city Richmond security.
In recent years, response rate at emergency call centers has been below average, causing first responders to not get to emergency situations in time to make a difference. On April 30th of 2024, local Richmond banker Carl Bacon witnessed his wife go into cardiac arrest in their own home. He called 911 and stated that they said help was on the way, but after about 10 minutes, they arrived and informed me it was too late and there was nothing they could do. Throughout the community, this has been a prevalent issue shared repeatedly. On average, a person makes only 1 or 2 emergency calls in their entire life, but over 600,000 calls are made daily. Smith revealed that dispatch members were falling asleep on the job, causing their emergency team to respond later rather than sooner. This new leadership of hers gives the team more confidence to arrive timely in high-risk situations.
When first responders can show up to situations in time and fashion, 67% of the time, respondents are there to make a difference. Officer Smith was a member of the New York Police Department, although reliable in Richmond. For more information on Smith, visit nypd.org.
Last call, everyone went, right?
Yes.
Yes. All right, we're gonna one.
Alright, we're gonna start with the people we thought, like when we first went out there after like hearing your pitches, we were like, these are the ones we thought were gonna make the newsletter.
Yeah.
This one of them.
Do that. We can say that.
I can go first. We have the same ones, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, we do. Okay. So originally we thought that the health editor, the politics and policy editor, and the education editor were originally gonna make it.
The runner-ups were entertainment and business.
Yeah.
So ones that did
But all of y'all's, wait, hold up. All of y'all's were wonderful though. That's what we originally thought.
not playing. They were all good. They were all good. So number 3 was Crime 2. We're gonna put it in the newsletter, but you can't use that picture.
Yeah,
like
why?
we're not putting that picture in the
Short-staffed, please, short-staffed?
Yeah, with the pregnant lady who got beat up.
What's
You don't
wrong
want
with that?
That just, it feels
You made it, but we're not putting that. We're gonna find a new picture.
Why? What's wrong? Oh, yeah, what's
No,
wrong with the
That was
picture?
his photo. That was his photo.
Yeah, advertise. You at least picture of a beat up pregnant.
I want to win.
Next
It's
article.
their call.
Next one.
Okay, next one.
Next one. The next one is Crime 2.
That's the same.
That's the
Crime
same
one.
one.
Wait, Crime 1. Oops, my fault.
Alright.
Wait, both of the crimes made it.
Drum roll, tabletop drum roll.
Politics.
What?
Wait, really?
Wait, really?
Oh, you guys.
Wait, for real?
Okay, why? Tell us why. Tell us why.
My notes are terrible. Oh, my notes are terrible. Okay, so I'm gonna go through my reasons. Like literally, my notes it's kind of crazy. So we're gonna start with Crime 2. You guys had a good title. I like the bullet points, and the article was actually interesting. Like I was like half asleep, but like listening to y'all, I was like, oh, okay, that's okay, you know. And you had a picture, even though we're not using that. I did want a picture, just not that one. But anyway,
What's wrong with the picture? I'm genuinely
It's
like
just, if you think about it, okay,
Find another
front page,
and it's
that's
a beat up pregnant lady. Like,
yeah.
But
It's not even those little
eye-catching.
disturbing.
That's gonna like draw attention.
I don't need that kind of.
If it was like an article and like that was lower down, maybe, but we're thinking about this like newspaper wise.
Yeah. Also, we're on the internet, but whatever.
It could be in the end.
Okay, Crime 1. Your title was okay, but the actual thingy thing was interesting, so it was good. And I like the connect. I don't remember what the connect is, but I like that. Apparently, I liked it. I don't know. You had a lot of statistics, which I also liked, and you. What does this say? Oh, good conclusion.
These are her notes, by the way.
I have no clue what I was yapping about.
Is this?
Yeah, I think I'm done. And you had a picture. I needed a picture. For politics, you had a good title. You had good statistics. I liked the interview, and it was controversial a little bit, and I liked that. Yeah, that's it.
But thank you.
You're welcome.